Welcome to release question number 17 for Algebra 2 for the CST questions. It says the total area of a rectangle is 4x to the fourth minus 9y squared. Which factors could represent the length times the width? To me, this looks like a difference of squares. So we just talked about in the previous question the sum and difference of cubes. There's another one that works for the difference of squares. So for the difference of squares in general, this is how that works. The difference of squares, which is what we have here. If you had just some old a squared term minus some old b squared term, that would equal a plus b times a minus b. It's just two binomials, a and b, both places, plus sign in one, minus sign in the other. In this case, your a is 2x. Because 2x squared, I should say. So it's 2x squared times itself. So this, in effect, this 2x squared is your a term right here. And then your b term looks like we have this b squared. This is like minus 3y is your b, representing your b. 3y would equal b over here. So you have 3y squared. So hopefully you notice the difference of squares there. And so now I'm just going to do this sort of thing. I have a minus b, which is 2x squared for a, minus b is now 3y here. I have that times a, which is 2x squared here again, plus, it really doesn't matter if I put a minus sign here and a plus sign here or vice versa. Why don't I keep it consistent though, just so we don't get unnecessarily confused. So I'll put the plus sign here and the minus sign here. But again, as long as you have one plus, one minus, they're exactly the same here and here beyond that. So we have this minus 3y. The parentheses that I just used weren't really necessary, so I'm just going to get rid of those in my final answer here. So 2x squared plus 3y times 2x squared minus 3y. And that is the same thing. Notice they have actually flip-flopped them here. So I could say this is the same thing as a minus b times a plus b. Again, you can flip-flop the order that you have the plus and the minus sign in. So this looks like the same thing as, I believe that was choice A. Yep, this has both pluses. This doesn't have the squared parts there. Choice A is the correct choice. Now I just want to put this into context. A rectangle, remember, is just length times width. So you could have a length of one of these things. Would probably be this one if your y value and x values were positive, because you'd be subtracting something here and adding something here. And usually we think of the length being longer than the width. It's not always that way, but that's generally what happens, or how we consider it. So length and width, if you multiply these two things back together, you can always do that with these kinds of problems. Multiply these two things back together, FOIL it back out, in other words, and you should get exactly what you started with. So why don't we do that here just as a quick check to verify. If I put the first terms together, this times this would in fact be 4x to the fourth. The outside and inside, that's the really important ones. They should cancel each other out because there is no outside and inside term there. So this times this would be 6x squared y, and this times this would be negative 6x squared y. Are they the same? Yep, so they cancel each other out, the outside and inside parts. And then the last part should give you that part right there, plus 3y minus 3y. You got it. It's negative 9y squared. So the right answer is choice A. We even checked our answer just to make sure. So all good, 17, choice A.